very, very bad news from the Detroit Tigers this morning. Riley Greene has been placed on the IR with a fractured fibula. Stress fracture, I guess, is the word that they're talking about. I hear it all over the board, right? Some of the people I've listened to, text threads with some of my Tiger Elite friends and things like that. Anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple months. You don't really know the nature of it, D-Mac. I don't know what you know about the stress fracture world or anything like that. But the moral of the story is, man, he was starting to pop off too, man.
Well, he was hitting his own stride. And the first thing, and then after last night, hearing that Eduardo Rodriguez, our ace, is put on the shelf for a while with some arm trouble. Like we said, two of the biggest guys, biggest impacts in your lineup, and Riley Greene was finding his stride. And I guess, Neil, the question I posed to you before and I asked people is, I know it's early in his career, and I think it's too early to put him in the category of injury prone, but is he not Riley Greene? Do you not have to put him on that list of can he stay healthy? And am I being unfair in saying that? But that's immediately after saying this, I wasn't thinking about the progress he made. I was thinking, damn, he can't continue to play. The one thing that I hold steadfast to is that Spencer Torkelson will find his way and find the level of his talent because he keeps getting out there. He keeps getting at bats. He keeps playing games. Riley Greene has had trouble in different reasons. So I know, and I'm not saying he's injury prone. I'm just asking you, is it fair to say, hey,
to have it on your radar?
Is this an issue? Do I got to just count on him for 120 games a year?
Keep it on your radar. And look, credit to you, D-Mac, because you asked the question. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, easy, everybody. I know we work in all absolutes all the time. No one is saying that yet. I'm saying, but we're dealing with this again, and here we are. And it's extra frustrating, I'm sure I probably speak for D-Mac because he had turned the corner in my eye. There was a buzz to him now. Like, I would, if I'm driving in the car and the game's on and I hear his name, then I, lock in, and say, all right, what's going to happen? Or if I'm at home messing around, I hear he's coming up to bat, I'll stop and watch and see what he's doing and stuff like that. So it just sucks because they were hanging on by a thread.
And part of and I'm not. Listen, freak injuries and fouling balls off and there's different things that happen. It's unfortunate and sort of unlucky. I'm just wonder if it's more of he was hitting his stride and arguably our best player and getting better and better, and you miss him for that. But I think that I don't know. I that's where my mind went first. And I was a guy that had freak injuries and stuff like that, and I wasn't a guy that you could count on for playing the whole year. If you got 70 games out of me, but I didn't miss a playoff game. Yeah. Right? It's different mentality.
It's the same, but it's different.
It's the same, but it's not. It's different.
That guy 62, next man up. Scott seems to have a pulse on this roster. Another hidden gem is coming up. I can feel it. And that guy 62, that sounds great to put in a text thread and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, you're talking about a pool of AA guys. The Tigers just traded the White Sox for an outfielder that they had to bring up from Toledo. Come on. Here's the thing, though. And Brandon Catsbot 9000 says the AL Central is horrible this year. It will likely take someone going 500 to win the division. And that's true. That's the frustrating part of it.
Coffee up your nose is not good. Thank you for that. You popped me on that one.
But that's the frustrating part of it, D-Mac, is because it's not going to take anything to win this division. Is one of the worst in sports, and I'm not going to apologize.
So
for
that's a good thing, right?
Right.
That's a good thing. So you don't, even though we lost two of our top guys, you still stick in this because we're in the middle of it. How many games are we out?
I still want to say 2,
2.5, 3 games back. So
2 games.
So hopefully, what that guy said, with Scott Harris being here, hopefully it gives different opportunities. Now's the time for it, isn't it? Right where you're at, and the blessing is that you play in arguably the worst division in baseball.
Yeah, and again, you don't have to do a whole heck of a lot in this division to kind of hang in. I'm not calling for it. I mean, you can't look. Riley Greene was the one guy who was a legitimate threat with a bat in his hand. And I kept seeing this. And you guys know we got in this argument, I think, about a week ago. Like the whole Miguel Cabrera thing.
About a week ago.
Yeah, like the whole Miguel Cabrera thing, who last night, by the way, 3 for 3, 2 RBIs, run scored, a walk, passed Ken Griffey Jr. in the total bases, right?
He's closing in on 200 batting average. I think he's at 196 or something like that.
And if you want to bring up, stats and things like that too, because I see this in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Real Cream of Wheat says, I'm even warming up to Javi Baez right now. Well, what's funny about that is with Miguel Cabrera going 3 for 3 yesterday, Miguel Cabrera's on-base percentage is higher than Javi Baez's right now.
Can you take
So,
it higher?
Yeah, it's pretty sobering, isn't it?
Place where blind men see.
You know what's amazing about that, man? Is all I kept hearing about was how hot El Mago is. That's all you heard about. He was hotter than Scott Stapp with Creed back in the day.
Absolutely.
What I mean?
Love me some Creed.
I think, and I think that the Cats brought up a great point in the fact that the different divisions coming in here, like Texas hitting the ball around on us, shows you, and it got me to bring up a question, Neil. Is it the inefficiency? And I answer my own question because the AL Central is like minus 200 in runs, right? They just can't hit or score runs. You look at last night, would you put 7 on the board, 6, 7 on the board, and you still can't. You got teams coming in, Texas, other divisions, they're the real deal. So it really shows you where you're at in the whole scheme of things. But again, you can still win your division. Might as well go out and play it. These injuries should not affect the fact of the division still stinks, and it's opportunity for different guys to step up.
Yeah. And what's funny too is the whole schedule realignment, because remember how it's too bad for the Tigers that this was the year that they realigned the schedules and you didn't have a heavy concentration of games in your own division. And that's been the overriding reason behind all this. Absolutely. Now, right? You got to go out into the wild and actually play all these teams, like the Rangers and the AL East and all that kind of stuff. And they're taking some beatings. There's no doubt
Rangers
about
are good, man. They're good.
Yeah, it's weird because they were like a mid-franchise forever, and then their ownership woke up one day and said, you know what? We're going to be good today. Mm-hmm. And what'd they do?
Well, they were good when they had Josh Hamilton and Ian Kinsler.
Right, and then they got bad.
Yeah.
And then their ownership woke up 2 years ago and said, you know what? I'm going to go sign Marcus Semien. And we're going to go spend $500 million in the offseason.
Josh Hamilton's one of my favorite baseball players ever.
Agreed.
Dude used to rip lines, slam some beers, then wake up and go hit 4 home runs the next day. Dude was a monster. Just a straight monster.
He was fun. He was an entertaining player.
Sober,
I remember that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When he got sober, he was still hitting homers.
He was. Yeah, it was unfortunate. He just did too much damage to the body, man.
Yeah. He had a really good run. That home run derby he was in. Oh,
it was electric.
Moonshots.
Yeah, it was electric. Man, the segment's over already?